Okay, that's enough of that. Good morning, y'all. Welcome to my channel. It's just Miranda. Whew. Y'all, I've been running around looking for my glasses. I've been running around looking for my glasses. Did I find them? I did not. I had to come over here with my plan B. So, yeah, but I'm here. I'm here, y'all. It's hump day. We gonna get over here off of this hump as quickly as we can. Good morning, Motown investor. Are you here in the bushes? It's cool. When we get into the things, I love it when you come over and, give your input. It's very much appreciated. Yeah, y'all, it's hump day. And so I don't really expect to have a humpy hump all day long, but if I'm being honest, I could lay my happy ass back down and, get a couple few more um, not hours. I don't need hours. I need a good 30. I could get a good 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying? Just a quickie. Try to build my energy up. I went on my morning walk and it didn't really build my energy up like it normally does. I'm wondering if it's because I cut that grass yesterday. Yeah, I'm retiring from grass cutting. I felt like, I didn't walk yesterday. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and, get some work done around the house and then I'll cut the grass, you know what I'm saying, later in the evening. And that way, it wasn't even late in the evening, to be honest, because, I ran my errands, the things I do in the morning. When I get off from here having conversations with y'all, I go ahead and try to get my little, a store run, prepare for dinner and any of the things I need to do, and then, I come and continue the things that, that are on my list of things to do that day. So yesterday, it was like an overcast day. So, temperature wasn't too high. And I was like, I'm going to go ahead and cut this grass because the neighbors, it's not even a neighbor over there. The house is like, I guess they're like renting it. I don't know what's happening. It's like in between. So the upkeep, at least it's not abandoned. So people came and cut their grass, and I was like, oh, now my grass doesn't look good. And I hate that. So anyway, I cut the grass and I don't want to do it anymore. I come to the conclusion I just don't want to do it anymore. It's hot. The grass sticking to me. I don't know if something's biting me. You know what I'm saying? Little ants and things, and I was just wore out, and I don't want to do it anymore. So yeah. Long story short, I'm not cutting the grass no more. But I did have my morning walk. I was struggling, child. I was struggling around that corner. I was going to get my 3 miles in this morning by nook or by crook. But, I did it. And on my morning walk, this popped up on my playlist. Your boy, Bobby Brown. And actually, it didn't pop up. I keyed him in. I guess I heard, Bobby Brown music. Now, don't sleep. I was listening to the king of R&B this morning. I put him in the playlist, and I was like, this, Bobby got Brown got some songs that make it, your morning walk go briskly. So the first thing that pops up is Tenderoni, and I'm in my vibe, doing my thing, headphones in. Bobby Brown singing, and he said the truth about Roni. She's a sweet little girl. Bobby, how little is she? We don't want her to be too little. You know what I'm saying? And when he sang this, Bobby's young, so I'm not gonna be too mad at him. But he said you could treat her right, real nice, and hold her tight. Now I would say I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? If you're tenderoni, I'm not a tenderoni anymore. I had my tenderoni days, but I have officially reached the age of tenderism. And tenderism is good too. It's different than tenderoni. It's not the same by any means, but it's still good all the same. A tenderoni is like a nice, firm peach. You know what I'm saying? And a tenderism is like a nicely seasoned steak, the kind that melts in your mouth. So both things are good, they're just different. That's how I look at it. And I'm living in a space of tenderism, not tenderoni. So, that's where I, can see things differently. You know what I mean? The first time, like back in the day when I was a tenderoni, I feel like this song probably hit different. You know what I mean? We were over here looking at Bobby Brown. He ain't never really been my thing, like not my type, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't crushing on Bobby Brown, but I was definitely grooving. So he said only tenderonis can give you special love, a special kind of love that makes you feel good inside. I would say he's saying that because he's only experienced a tenderoni. Had he, and he was young, you know what I'm saying? So there's that. But had he been a little older, maybe experienced a little tenderism, he would have a different perspective on that. You know what I'm saying? Ask Ray J, because you was over there being a tenderoni. Weren't you Whitney's little tenderoni? I feel like Whitney had a couple few years on Bobby, and she damn sure has some years on Ray J. So, Whitney was out here cougaring around, and you might have just been her tenderoni. Goes both ways, Bobby's. And so, yeah, once he got hooked on that tenderism, well, we know what happened after that. His whole life got changed around. What else did he say? He said, if you believe in love, we get to the hook. If you believe in love and all that it can do for you, give it a chance, girl. You'll find romance. Okay, so here's what happens. When you get yourself a tenderoni, she will absolutely believe in love and all that it can do for you. She will give it a chance, and she may or may not find romance. I know that's up for debate. But one thing that ain't gonna happen is your tenderism ain't finna fall for any of that bullshit. She don't believe in love, and she know it ain't gonna do a damn thing for her. So, tenderism and tenderonis, they're different. I'm a tenderism. I'm a proud tenderism. And so, yeah, that's, I guess, all I got for Bobby. I'm going to start here today. I didn't want to start on a sad note necessarily. So, we give a little chitter chatter over here until the people arrive to the chat. Some of y'all be at work in the bushes, and, that's okay, because I'm going to keep talking and we'll get into the things that are the things. So, the verdict is out, and I feel like there really isn't any other place to start in terms of coffee talk today. The verdict is out, and this young man has been sentenced to 35 years in prison. All I could think of is this.
You win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day.
Let's hear that one more time.
This what makes you a man. When I was growing up, this was all the protection we needed. You win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day.
You win some and you live to fight another day. Um, yeah, I would say yeah. And had this situation been left to just two hot-headed young men, you know, in fisticuffs, then we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. And uh, it's so many things that are going on at the same time that have people's emotions very much heightened. Um, they like to paint a picture of us as this savages that can't control themselves. What's the new word they out here saying? Chimping out. Seems like that's what they're doing. Isn't it funny how they come up with these terms? I never heard of chud. I don't talk about chud, but apparently chud is the one that came up with this term, chimping out. I feel like chipping out is not what needs to happen in this moment. We're gonna put that on pause. Um, does not to say we won't. If that's what you want to call it, then that's what you want to call it. But I don't think that's what needs to happen right now. Now, I think we as a community need to pause, um, Child, they got the boy's mugshot online. I want to focus on his mugshot because I'm conflicted as, I mean, I'm not really conflicted, but I am to some extent just because I mean, at the end of the day, there's two children whose lives have been, one life is gone and the other one, 35 years, he won't be, if he's serves his full term, won't be out of jail until he's 54 years old. So that's a life. That's a lifetime. He's just getting, started in this world. But Carmelo Anthony sentenced to 35 years in prison for red rum of Austin Metcalf. I'm not going to say the word because, it is what it is. A Collin County jury has sentenced Carmelo Anthony to 35 years in prison after finding him guilty of red rum in the fatal STA-abbing of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas. A case stemmed from an April 2025 confrontation at Frisco ISD track meet. Authorities said the dispute began when Anthony, who attended Centennial High School, was under the tent used by Metcalf's Memorial High School team. The disagreement escalated and Metcalf was STA'd in the chest. He died at the scene. Anthony's defense argued that he acted in self-defense, while prosecutors said the STAbbing was deliberate and unjustified. Jurors were allowed to consider both a red rum and manslaughter, but ultimately convicted Anthony of red rum before deciding on a 35-year sentence. Let me continue. The trial drew national attention because both teens were high school students and because the case became heavily discussed online, race also became a part of public debate around the case. Though the legal team said the trial itself was focused on the evidence, not race. That's a crock of bullshit if I ever heard it. Anthony, now 19, was 17 at the time of the STAbbing. Under Texas law, he was tried as an adult. Of course. And let's be clear, 19 is not an adult. It's legal age, but it's definitely not an adult. He still probably has stains in his drawers. And his mama still washed them. So, reports from the courtroom described an emotional scene as the verdict and sentence were read, with reactions from both families after more than a year of legal proceedings. Oh my God, it's been going on for a year. And for us, we heard about it. We knew it was coming, but these people been dealing with it. And when I say these people, I mean Carmelo Anthony's family. They've been, in the trenches this whole time. The sentence brings one chapter of the case to a close, but an impact remains far bigger than the courtroom. For Metcalf's family, the verdict represents accountability after the loss of a son, brother, and student athlete. For Anthony's family, it marks the beginning of decades behind bars for a teenager whose defense said the moment unfolded in fear and chaos. The case is also a reminder of how quickly a confrontation between two young people can turn deadly. What began as a dispute at a school event ended up with one teenager dead, another sentenced to prison, and two families permanently damaged. That part is absolutely true. And good morning to Go to Africa. Good morning, El Cid. Y'all are everybody's ringing the bell, coming through the door. I decided, guys, to go ahead and start here because it's I feel like most of our energy. Maybe that's why I'm so tired. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think of it, but maybe the weight of the world is affecting me physically. You know what I'm saying? I was scrolling yesterday and I looked for stories, you know what I'm saying, to come over here and talk about with you guys. But I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and all I see is a bunch of Asian people screaming at black folks, and black folks, and the grand wizard is over here just making things worse and worse and worse and worse. So yeah, this is how everything turned out in terms of the verdict for this young man. I feel like when we saw the jury, um, and let's take a look at that again, because I feel like, when you see it, see it. So when we saw the jury, can I move that? When we saw, when we found out that this young man was not going to have any representation here, and you look at these people, and they're not even young. Isn't it supposed to be a jury of your peers? Because this don't look like no jury of nobody's peers. They look like they all came from the same family. They went and got Barbara and Carol and Bill and Chuck and brought them all over here. There ain't even a brunette in the group, for goodness sakes. It's whitey, white. And if I'm, being offensive to somebody, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I mean, just, you're going to have to take this one. You're going to have to take this one, because that's what that looks like. Nothing about that. This is a lynch mob as far as I'm concerned. Plain and simple. And maybe that's why that boy went over there with the type of energy he did. I'm talking about Austin, the young man, the victim of the crime, I guess, so to speak. And there's pictures out here of him, and how he got his finger up, and he's being an obnoxious boy. And the reason why that is because these people raised him. These people raised him. They felt their own. They raised him to hate for no good reason. I don't care what it is. If you hate Black people, gay people, this kid was, a bully from what we can see. And I blame them. They raised him to be that. So, when angry people around, what did Torre say? If gentle parenting is going to bring up gentle people, I'm here for it. He never had a chance. He didn't. There's not even, I don't know. This is disgusting. Like, it makes me sick to my stomach when I see the jury, because there was no chance. Nobody was going to go in there and fight for him. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was going to go speak on his behalf. They were went in there to find out how much time can they give this nigga for doing what he did to their sweet little boy, because that's the picture they're going to paint. And at the end of the day, some kids are nice, some kids are not. It's that's the part of school life. And, athletes, I feel like, come with a little bit more energy, a little bit more testosterone, a little bit more everything. But yeah, he was sentenced to 35 years, and the conversation is on right now. So this young lady always shows up at the worst time with the worst things to say. I'm talking about Azealia Banks. So she had a tweet, which, actually kind of made me think. I can't stand the stuff that comes out of her mouth. Every time she tweets, it's never about anything good. And I told y'all, I'm judging anybody. I can't even go on my Instagram without seeing, this baby's face. And so, like I said, maybe, I might just take a break. What's tomorrow? Thursday? I think I'm going to take a break. I'm not probably going to come back tomorrow. I don't want to be on the internet, to be honest. So I will probably just come back Monday, because this is a lot. Like, it's been one hell of a week. One hell of a week. So Azealia Banks is over here running her mouth. It says, wow, Azealia Banks says Carmelo was not acting in self-defense when he fatally STI'd Austin Metcalf. How would I feel if Austin were Black? Let me read what she said first. She said, it's not self-defense when you taunt someone and say, touch me and see what happens 5 times. Girl, that sounds like an argument. They were going back and forth. We're not going to just say if the sentence in itself is putting you in a position of defense. If you touch me, see what happens. That means don't touch me. Do you even hear what you're saying, stupid girl? He was intent on ST-abbing Austin. Plus, you're not allowed to bring a weapon onto school property or have them at school events. Okay, and kids do stuff that they're not supposed to do. So you're not allowed. But what was he feeling like? Why did this kid feel like he needed to, protect himself? Girl, do you not know what that's like? Because your ass is black, and I don't know where you walk around in the streets at, but we're not going to act like you don't receive the same kind of discrimination that the rest of us do. I remember going with a friend, ex-friend, and it's for this one. Multiple things happened with this friendship, but it all revolved around racism. Good morning, Ja Tony. I went with this friend to have breakfast. It was my birthday. So for my birthday, we were meeting up to walk. So for my birthday, she wanted to walk around Pioneer Village and look at a bunch of slavery shit and then say to me, I feel like we have to remember these things, whether it makes us feel good or not, with your white skin, girl. So from there, we left and went to a little diner for brunch in St. Cloud. And when I walked in the room, the record scratched. Like these people couldn't swallow their eggs no more. So, and did she notice it? Absolutely not. She walked around there acting like it wasn't happening. When I feel like, girl, you see what's happening here. And so you're not an ally. That's what I started to realize. She's not an ally. Good morning, T. Stories with outcomes like this, like his and Trayvon Martin, occurs too often. There's no justice in the criminal justice system. I feel like homeboy that killed Trayvon Martin is receiving the karma. It didn't come through the court system. And the same thing, I feel like all of you jurors, I hope you can sleep well at night. That's all I can say. I hope you can sleep well at night. I hope you don't sleep well at night. Let me change that. Anyway, so this girl keeps running her mouth. She said, I have to think, how would I feel if Austin were black? I definitely find him extra guilty. I don't know what that means. What would have been a routine fight between boys at a school ended up with one dead. And she's not wrong about that, but I feel like we've all said that. This is not what the black community needs to be focused on. We have more important things to do. What's more important than protecting our community? Like this girl's so dumb. I can't take it. She's so dumb. What is more important right now than us trying to protect the community? This comment here, we really got to start completely ignoring people who probably eat crayons. That's funny. I guess the thing though that stood out to me when she said, what if Austin were black? Because at the end of the day, like Pop said in Friday, we came to the fight with our fists. And, you get the bumps and the bruises. It's a girl, did you tell me that? Oh, yeah. Oh, that story about my birthday, I'm sure I did. But, I'll remind you. You live to fight another day. You go in, you put up your dukes, you fight, you live to fight another day. So, what was the first comment? Because it says first comment on my notes. So this first person said the problem is Austin was black, but his name was Trayvon. I think it means if. Then Michael Brown, then Tamir. Austin only gets justice when it's Austin. A lot of people brought up, what's that boy? I can't remember his name right now, but he went over there, down to the protest with his rifle. His mama dropped him off. The racism was already there. I feel like we have to stop going to that space where we're like, this person didn't get off. This person, we know that a white person is not going to be treated the same as somebody black within the system. You know what I'm saying? That it's already there. We already know that part. So I feel like there's no need to point it out after the fact. You went to go talk to Amanda Seales. I told Amanda Seales in her latest short that life without Black Jesus ain't spit. No response yet. That's better than, a cuss out. She didn't block you, or maybe she just didn't see it yet. Um, yeah. I feel like what made Carmelo feel like he needed to go over there and protect himself. I mean, he didn't go to the school. I just have questions. He didn't go to that school. Um, he must already know that this kid, Austin, is a problem or going to be a problem. So before he went to track, he prepared himself for a fight. You know what I'm saying? Why do you need it? Like, it's not like in case, and I'm not blaming him. I'm just seeing, stating the facts of how many things happened that could have changed both of these kids' lives. He felt a way, but like I said, the racism was already there. So he should, and you can preach and preach and preach to your kids, and you hope that they listen to your advice. So I don't know what advice his father and mother were giving him. I'm pretty sure I would stand on I would stand on my words that I don't feel like his mom and dad told him to leave the house with a weapon. You said I need to hear from the parents as to why this town is to settle in. I agree, Elsid. When I look at people, when I look at places, like when you say, where would I want to live? The first thing I do is look at the population of people of color, you know what I'm saying, around me. I gravitate towards it. We have nice neighborhoods. We don't, it's not always hood. If you can afford to live somewhere nice, you can. I just prefer not having a situation where I'm so much of a minority that I'm not going to see anything that looks like me. I'm not going to be able to send my kids to school, and they're not going to have friends that understand or give a shit what their plight is. I just said I had a friend who went to breakfast with me after she took me to the fucking Pioneer Village. I'm sorry. Not sorry. I'm a little worked up this morning. So, yeah, I agree, Elsid. Why was it that place, that you decided to settle in? It could have been work. We don't know. But what we do know, this kid, is racist ass Texas. And we already knew about the racism. We who live in regular neighborhoods, diverse neighborhoods, still have to tell our kids, like, if the police pull you over, there's a whole long list. You got to write it down, stick it in the dashboard, tell them where to put the hands. All that we send our kids out of the house, knowing that the KKKs and the ICE and all of the, supremacists, that whatever name they fall in under, police department, whatever, you know what I'm saying? We got to be prepared for that. Good morning, Lotus Egyptian Flower. Nobody's parents. Well, I don't believe these parents. I don't believe these parents sent their kid out of the house with a weapon. That was something that he did on his own, because when they become teenagers, they start making decisions. That's when you start messing up, making mistakes. That's what, teenage life is about. But hopefully, your kids would get through that portion of their life as they get prepared to go to college, that they're making less stupid mistakes. But as a parent, you're like, I told you, my kids are grown. When they leave the house, I'm like, make sure this is done, make sure that's done. And they're like, we know, like, they don't want to hear it, but hopefully they hear it. That's your job as a parent. But, this kid felt like, I'm just wondering, like, was there smoke before between these two kids? Was there an issue before? Because this Austin, like, based on the pictures that you see, and I didn't pull them up because they do the same thing to us. They try to find the worst of what our kids are doing and make that the example. Like, at the end of the day, these two kids were over here to track meet. And where was the tent for his school? Why did he feel like, I realized his friend was there. He went to hang out with his friend, but I feel like you already know Austin is a problem. You came prepared to deal with his ass. Just in case, just in case. It's disgusting that this happened to him when that's who I was thinking of. Kyle Rittenhouse was armed and killed 3 people without incident or provocation. It's true. But like I said before, to go to Africa, the racism is already there. We already know that. We already know that that was not fair and his ass should have served time. But I can go right now and find 15 different white boys that didn't go to jail. You know what I'm saying? For doing far less. I mean, massacring people. And, then they want to blame it on mental illness and things. So you said them kids have hunting knives. Why? Because it's Texas and, it's true, but, not at school. You said it was a Swiss Army knife you have on your keychain. Yeah, but it had to be deep, big enough, long enough to, end somebody. I just feel like, the knife was in his bag, and for whatever reason, he felt like he needed to protect himself. That's what I feel like. Did he just carry it? Maybe. Is it always in his bag? I don't know. But what I do know is if it hadn't been there, then we would be having a different conversation. I also like off a little bit off of what this crazy lady was saying, just to take the racism out of it for a minute, which obviously we can't take it away because it's a big factor. But at the end of the day, if you have 2 teenage boys going at it with each other, don't get along. Even what if Austin was black? You know what I'm saying? And him and Carmelo just were beefing with each other, didn't like each other, didn't vibe with each other. And we had 2 black parents sitting here grieving over one, the loss of her son, and the other one, the son having to reap the repercussions, from his actions. But I feel like I guess my question is then what is a fair punishment? You know what I'm saying? Obviously 35 years is, an intentional, stripping this man of his life. But what would be a fair punishment though? What does that look like for this young man? If we were given, the opportunity to have a fair trial. You said, unfortunately, there's no black collective leaders to see that Carmelo gets a fair trial. It's a heavy day for hearing that verdict. It was. It's Texas. Those boy chiefs come. I mean, I realize that, but I'm just saying, like, they shouldn't be able to have, weapons at school. And honestly, teenagers shouldn't have no damn weapons without supervision. They do. Because, I don't want to say because it's Texas, because this took place at a school. So, I'm afraid to put the kids in the car. They're driving around. That's a weapon. They're not, mentally, I just think there's not, there's rules in place. You can't carry it on an airplane. You can't take it in the schoolhouse either. We see plenty of online altercations between students and teachers. And, if everybody had a weapon, then we will be hearing this more and more and more and more. So, like I said, I have a very heavy heart for this whole situation. I think we look at this boy and we see a boy. That's it. We see a boy who made a really bad decision one morning and it turned into a tragedy. You know what I'm saying? And you living in this town where not a single person is going to be sitting there to have any type of compassion for you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's sitting on that jewelry is there specifically to, strip the life away from this young man because that's how they do it over there in Texas. Yeah. I hate to I hate to be I don't know. I think everything Azalea Banks says is stupid, was stupid, but it just made me think like, yeah, at the end of the day, a child lost his life. So had he not bought that knife with him, and what if Austin was black? You know, the racism part is going to have us. We already own, 100. So this definitely and I feel like we all knew. We knew that when we found out last week. That's sure. The fact that it went by so fast says everything I need to know. We just found out last week or the week before last that this jewelry was going to be all white. We just found that out. And when we heard that, we were like, this ain't going to be good. We already know. I feel like we have spent these last couple of weeks preparing to hear that this young man was going to go to jail. We just wanted to know, how long were they going to do it? And I feel like they definitely could have given him manslaughter, and other kids have walked. So yeah, this kid felt like he needed to defend himself. And yeah, I think there's way too much expectations on teenagers to think logically. They haven't learned anything yet. If you give a toy to a toddler and bring in another toddler, he's gonna snatch it. Nobody taught him that. It's just human nature. It's crazy that he had a knife. Texas is an open carry state. I mean, the result is still the same. And I mean, I feel like he wouldn't have that because his parents wouldn't have that. His parents probably wouldn't have him walking around like that because they know. You got a long list of stuff. You got to make sure you tell your kids before they leave the house. We know that justice in America can never balance in our favor as it does for white people. We are outnumbered. We are outnumbered, and even others, people of color, they standing over there, and they ain't standing over here with. We are over here swinging by our damn selves. So, allies are important, and thankfully there are some out there. Not R.I.P., but prayers to this young man. I just clicked on the phone and there's his mugshot everywhere. So I just, like I said, I need to step away from all of that. I just need a break from it because it's just too overwhelming. I need to ask his parents how did they prepare him for this in white community and school. That's what I say, Elsa. You move into T sent me something this morning. You move into white neighborhoods and, there's just nobody around that looks like you that understands and trust and believe they are in Texas. They growing up, seeing you being compared to a monkey and hearing all kind of garbage coming out of the mouths of their parents, their grandparents, their aunts and uncles. It'd be a whole, clan meeting over there around to their cookouts. They don't have cookouts. Over to their picnic. You said outnumbered by liars and mental defectives. It's true. And child molesters and, all the weirdos sitting here with a lot of money. You said, don't read the comments. They white Texas are cutting up with their racist rants. I don't really, some stuff you already know what it's going to be. And unfortunately, it's not even just Texas. It's like cancer, child. It's spreading and spreading and spreading and spreading. When I see all of these, I'm going to say mostly Chinese people, y'all are so freaking mad that people said, well, if you don't want us over there, we just won't come. Whoever got cussed out for that. And now they all over here calling us fuckity fucks and niggerisms. Ciao. Allies are important. I always say that. And this is off of that subject. We can lighten it up just a little bit. But this is an ally over here. When you white and somebody else white is a racist, they say some racist shit. But she stood on business.
Equal racist biatch. It was my second time doing her hair. And for some reason, she said that she had lived in Section 8 housing when she was a kid. And I was like, oh, I actually did too. Yeah, it was a crazy experience depending on the day. And that's all I said. She decides to take it in a whole different direction. She goes, I can't even imagine what it's like these days. When I was a kid, we didn't have the blacks coming in with their drugs and their violence and da-da-da-da. And I was like, I know this woman does not think that I am on her side. I don't know what about me says I am that kind of white. I just breathed for a couple seconds and took in what she just said. And then after I got my eyeballs put back into my head, I said, I mean, I don't know. I lived in so-and-so town, a town filled with mostly white people. And there was meth all up and down that town. So I don't know what that's about. She was just quiet for a second. And then she starts trying to backtrack, you know. Thankfully, we were almost done with her appointment anyway. Made her pay me and sent her on her way. You know, I've been thinking about it. Like, that just disgusted me. I mean, obviously, for so many reasons. But I also have personal things that just really struck a nerve with me. So I decided to send her a text firing her. I sent that, make sure it said delivered, and then I immediately blocked her. This wasn't about to be a conversation. We weren't going back and forth. I don't give a damn what you have to say. Part of me was kind of glad, I mean, not glad that she thinks that way and said it, but glad that she did say it to me, because I am willing to check her. Not that I think I'm going to change her mind or anything at all, but maybe, just maybe, she'll think twice before she says some shit like that again. Okay. Recently fired a client for being a hateful, racist
So I didn't catch that text. I'll see if I can catch it on the second go around. Shout out to her for standing on business, because she put her money where her mouth is. What are y'all saying? The Asian youth are calling out their people who don't understand. I have seen a lot of that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that, because that's not something that often happens. People keep their mouth shut, you know what I'm saying, and act like, just like with that damn, remember that monkey that kid fell in the thing, they let the baby fall in the thing with the monkey, and then want to be mad, talking about her mama. Look, the mama let the kid get away, and I'm like, how many adults did that kid walk past? Nobody snatched him, you know, and said, hey, whose kid? He about to get, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, they'll jump on the bandwagon about something, but when it comes to us and our causes, they will not. So that's why I said I appreciate this lady, because I mean, she sent a client out, you know, because a lot of people would have been like, I don't care. I don't think that way. That's not, you know, and still continue to get their money. Okay, so she sent her a text. It says, after thinking it over, I wanted to inform you that I will be canceling any future appointments and will not be rescheduling. Your racist comment about blacks coming in and ruining Section 8 was completely ignorant and not something I will tolerate in any area of my life. I was shocked you said something like that at all, let alone to me. I can't imagine how I would feel giving you the impression that I shared your type of thinking. And furthermore, as someone who's half black, she said it was something in her. See, you never know who you're talking to. She said, and furthermore, as someone whose half black sister died basically due to racism. Oh, she was really touched. Something, let's see. You really need to be careful about who you are bold to share your harmful. The thing is over it. Let's see. Harmful thinking with. As far as I'm concerned, dang, I missed it. Y'all get the point. Anyway, she stood on her business. She fired that lady. She said, then she blocked her. Because we ain't about to argue. This is what I think. So she fired the lady. She blocked her and, you know, moving on. So that's the only way, I feel like, because we're outnumbered. You know what I'm saying? We are outnumbered and we can't fight this fight by ourselves. So even that part, even like you said, the Asian people who don't agree are out here speaking up. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some really, you know, well-informed insight for some of them. So, you know, I think it's important. You know, you don't want to be like, y'all didn't hear that, y'all didn't see that, we ain't saying nothing. They're over there like, and it's young people mostly, they're over there like, we don't stand with that. That, you know, is crazy. And a lot of them understand why they even have the opportunities that they do. So the only way for us to at least gain some ground in this cesspool that we are, you know, sinking in, is to have everybody, you know, that's not living in ignorance speak up. So, you know, shout out to the allies, child, Too bad she wasn't on the damn jewelry. We might have had a different outcome. As we all know, Apple is the ops. Apple is out here doing too much. It says announced at WWDC 26, the updated password app will use AgeNetic intelligence and Safari to automatically navigate websites, sign into your accounts, and upgrade your weak compromised password on your behalf. Did anybody ask them to do that? First comment, accident, absolutely not. I'm gonna have to switch over to Samsung. This is ridiculous. Why do I need you to do that? Like, we will go into your personal bit. What's the point of having a password? Why do I have a password if Apple employees is over there, racially profiling me and then jamming up my damn password just for shits and giggles, especially if you have a business. If I have a business and I'm using this app as part of my marketing, you do not have access to we're going to come home and the TV going to be turned off and no, TV hours are over. You have no permission to watch your damn television. Ugh. Apple just creeping all up in everything. Apple and Google are a problem. Big Brother is like controlling and disrespectful. That's what I think. Ugh, that's not all, y'all. I don't know whose man is out here, whose cheating ass man is out here with these ridiculous updates. Let me pull it up on my phone so I can see what's going on, child. Why do we need this? Like, if you're just going to be able to hide your location, then why are we sharing locations? And isn't this important information for parents to have on their children? Me and my kids location each other. So, yeah, my daughter be very much like, what you doing over there? This is interesting. Apple just made a little bit easier for to be sneaky or simply move around without people knowing. Apple has a slew of new features coming to iPhones that they announced at their annual WWDC tech event. So they over there at the WWDC acting a fool. We need to get some eyes over there, see what they're doing. Can you tech people send some representatives over to the WWDC so we can see, how much longer we have before we're cooked? Those changes include a major overhaul of Siri using Apple Intelligence, enabling the AI to be quicker, more involved, and more helpful. Oh, can she cook a chicken? There's always a new look to Apple Music, new photo reframing features, and the ability to split bills with friends via Apple Pay. However, something that wasn't covered largely at the Apple WWDC event is the change to Find My. Users that sign up for the beta immediately notice a slick change in the location service. Previously, you'd be notified if someone stopped sharing their location. Now it prompts the user with a hide option that enables them to silently hide their location This sounds like a husband that came up with this. That's all I have to say about that. Husband, boyfriend, somebody with a penis. Anyways, to silently hide their location from those they share with. The feature allows you to hide for a set amount of time or indefinitely. No word on if it shows that you're hidden or just at your last viewable location, but social users seem mixed on the change. Some say this is great for cheaters. Well, yeah. Some raise concerns about children being able to hide their location. Now that's a bigger problem. Because, if your man is a cheater, you gonna know you don't need Apple to figure that out for you. But what about the children, especially like, you have these situations where parents abduct the children. There's custody issues. You can, hide the location of the child. And the whole point of getting the, you said, ladies, get your Android. I'm about to get mine, but not because I'm, worried about the location feature. I don't want them to be changing my damn password without helping me out. I'm gonna help you update your thing. I don't need it. I'll update it when I'm ready. Yeah, I think if you dealing with a child abduction situation, you think they're not gonna know to turn the location off, or in that case, I'm sure that it's the phone, but just get rid of the phone. But I don't like this idea. It just like you have the location, like I said, on your kids. You have teenage children. Anything can happen. You need to know where their location is. Unfortunately, we give Google and Apple access to every aspect of our lives, in part by being lazy. They can monitor our travels, health. It's true. And they just be like, do you accept the terms and conditions? We be like, yes, to the next window. Yes. Next thing you know, they coming to confiscate your firstborn child, and you've agreed to it. Now we need to put a tracker under the kid's skin. I feel like that's probably coming, child, but Apple will have access to it, or Google. You say get your man an Android. If I got to do all that, I don't want him. Like, he just gonna, do old school way and leave his phone or get another phone. I don't want him if I got to get him an Android. I'm about to get me one, though, because I don't want my password being updated without my permission. Yeah, if your man need to get an Android because he's on the cheater location tip, then they're just going to update it. Next time it'd be like, now you can see if somebody hid your location. Now, Apple stay trying to get you to get a feature, don't they? Get a new phone. We're going to get an iPhone 17. Then we're going to do 17 Plus. Then we're going to do 17 Pro. You got 3 different 17 options. Then they hit you with the 18. Ha-ha. This Apple phone 94 can do everything. Just sit your ass down. Don't move. Stay there. We'll think for you if you need us to. That's the plan. What else, child? Let's talk about these folks over here in this administration right quick. Bring it on up, bring it on down. Bring it on up, bring it on down. We got to talk about it because, if we in the dark, that ain't going to help. Somebody got to keep us in the loop. Because when I say us, I mean me, child. Because I need to know, what measures I need to take in case I need to get the hell out of here. Did I say that already? Probably. The U.S. Senate voted 52-47 to pass a $70 billion immigration enforcement bill to fund ICE and the U.S. Border Patrol for the next 3 years, ensuring operational funding through the end of Trump's presidency. First of all, nobody even trying to come over here. Everybody's trying to escape from here. So that part is bullshit. That just means that the primaries, child, the midterms are coming. So they done gave ICE another boost. They're going to terrorize the citizens around here. They're not worried about no border control. People are trying to run out of this bitch. At least the ones that are born here, child. It says the U.S. Senate voted 52-47 to pass a $70 billion immigration enforcement bill that would fund immigrations and customs enforcement and the U.S. Border Patrol for the next 3 years. 3 years is a long time. Ugh. It's not, but it is. Good grief. It's a long time when you're dealing with this nonsense. Anyway, extending operations through the end of President Donald Trump's term. The measure passed after an overnight vote-a-rama. What the hell is a vote-a-rama? Where lawmakers debated amendments tied to immigration policy, federal enforcement powers, and a disputed settlement fund. And they decided this is where they was going to send the money to? Okay. The bill, if passed by the House, would be a major win for Republicans who've made border security and immigration enforcement a central part of their agenda. It would provide long-term funding for ICE and Border Patrol at a time when the agencies have been at the center of national debate over deportation, detention operations, and border enforcement. Democrats opposed the bill, arguing that more oversight and policy changes are needed before expanding enforcement funding. Republicans pushed the measure forward through budget procedures that allowed it to pass without Democratic support. They don't be fighting that hard anyway, so, you know, y'all, we need Black Jesus for real. The legislation is not final yet. That part is good news. And Donald Trump just be, running his mouth. He don't really be standing on business. He don't do good at paying people. That's why he bankruptcies a lot. After passing the Senate, the bill now moves to the House of Representatives, where lawmakers will decide whether to approve it and send it to Trump's desk. Let's pray that that doesn't happen. Let's pray that this money gets allocated to other areas. They need ICE around to harass people at the polling locations. That's what I said, T. I said, this is simply going to be a measure taken to make sure that, and after the polls, they will probably kind of fall back like they have, I seen somebody the other day that said, they spotted ICE somewhere, but I don't see that. For a minute, it was everywhere. They was like, ICE outside, ICE outside, ICE outside. Now, it's a little quiet because they've been, rearranging the funds and things. They found out they wasn't going to get them checks. So Trump is over here trying to rustle up some billions to make sure that we at the polls, get, like you said, harassed and things. So does this mean his presidency will end? Please, sweet Jesus. That ain't the only thing we would like to end, but El Cid said I'm not allowed to say those types of things over here. Oh, ICE quiet until the World Cup games. They said they ain't coming. That's what I'm talking about. Like the people said, don't come over here. You know what I'm saying? And so they can watch the World Cup from wherever they at. They can have a whole stadium, set up somewhere for the people to watch it. So I don't know if they coming over here. You said they snatching the agents at the nail shops up here. Well, I'm gonna call that karma. Sometimes, you got to take one for the team. And Mr. Child put y'all in a situation, and y'all mad at us, and we ain't snatching nobody. We would just like to go and get our nails done without, drama. Whew. Nobody want to come over here. Hopefully these funds get redirected. You know what I'm saying? Because they owe so much money. I feel like they're going to put a lot of energy into that. He was at the basketball game. What you say? Heard they ain't paying ICE troops the way they promised. They weren't. But, that's why they're trying to get this bill passed so they can get this money. So they can get their ICE money back up. Did y'all see Trump getting booed at the game? We knew that was going to happen. He doesn't believe it happened. He doesn't believe it happened, even though maybe his ears don't work. Oh my God. I just saw, I'll just say it. I click on, I told you, this is why I'm clicking the hell off after I leave here. Trump administration ends policy requiring ICE to report deaths of recently released detainees. What? The Trump administration has ended a Biden-era policy that required Immigration and Customs Enforcement to report and investigate the deaths of former detainees who died within 30 days of being released from custody. The policy implemented in 2021 was designed to prevent ICE from avoiding scrutiny by releasing seriously ill detainees shortly before their deaths. That's what they do. Under the updated policy, ICE will only review and report deaths that occur while individuals are still in custody. Oh, that's enough of that. Let's get back over here to Plies and Stephen A. I like seeing Stephen A. made a fool of, even if it's from, y'all's president. Plies was over here talking smack. Where is it at? Why isn't it here? He said, don't be mad at him now that he called you low IQ. You've been out here championing and tap dancing for him this whole time. Y'all run behind them white boys until their policy lets the world know how they really feel about you. I'm glad he publicly embarrassed you. You deserved it. That's what Plies said about Stephen A. Smith. So you can never make me hate Plies. Plies is hilarious. So let's listen.
I could say I put my IQ up against yours any day of the week. I could go one better. I could ask you why you've been running from me the last year since I wanted to talk to you. I could ask you to debate me since you think you that dude, okay? We can go a myriad of ways with all of this, but I'm not going to let you off the hook because none of that is important.
I ain't gonna lie. I think a debate between Trump and Stephen A. Smith might be entertaining.
I do appreciate the fact that you called me a nice guy because don't tell anybody. But I actually am a very nice guy until you tug at me a little bit. And then after that, I got to show my other side. And my other side came out last night when I recognized that businesses that are accustomed to being patronized were compromised by you because you showed up. The crowd that surrounded the Madison Square Garden and its surrounding areas, you compromised.
Have we seen any videos about him standing up for, the community that, the Asian businesses are taking advantage of? You talk about people who were coming over here to enjoy a basketball game. Did you make a video about, the young man running for his life away from Mr. Chow? I don't remember hearing that.
I thought you were about helping New Yorkers because you love New York. I thought you were about the economy. You want to talk about IQ? I could say I put my IQ up. New York. I thought you were about making money for people. What happened to the parking garages? How much money did they make? What happened to the local restaurants in the immediate vicinity of Madison Square Garden? How much money did they make? We know you've made a lot of money. We know you keep making money. But have the New York Knicks benefited? The answer to that would happen to be no.
They are really invested in the New York Knicks.
This is a sports show, so I won't go any further than that other than to say Brunson played better when you weren't there. Mikal Bridges played better when you weren't there, Josh. Karl Anthony Towns played better when you weren't there. Landry Shamet played better when you weren't there. The crowd was festive, hyped, and more intimidating when you weren't there. Businesses were thriving before you showed up. Parking garages were being fed before you showed up. There was noise reverberating off the walls of Madison Square Garden before you showed up. Thought you were about helping New Yorkers because you love New York. I thought you were a New Yorker, Mr. President. I thought you cared. I thought it mattered to you. Gotham City, the New York Knicks, the erasing of a 53-year drought. I thought that mattered to you. Evidently it didn't. And you know how we know? Because you actually talking about coming back.
Oh, no.
Game 4.
No, don't do that.
Why would you do that?
Don't do that.
It's clear you need your rest.
Whoa.
Isn't it? The New York Knicks need it too. Give New Yorkers a break. Stay at the White House. Go to Mar-a-Lago. Go to Bedminster. Do whatever it is that you gotta do. Just stay the hell away from the New York Knicks for the rest of this series. Pretty please. I thought you were a New Yorker, Mr.
ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith, who was talking about running for president, said he would blame you if the Knicks lost the game. How do you respond to that?
I think he's a nice guy. But you need a certain aptitude to run for president. You need a high IQ. I'm not sure that Stephen has that. I don't think he does, actually.
ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I feel like Stephen A. Smith might have a higher IQ than Donald Trump. But yeah, let's see. I can't believe that I ever watched and listened to this opportunist. You talking about Stephen A. Smith? I've never liked him. He just always, I always looked at him like he got a big mouth for somebody who never played a sport. He just watching it. Oh, hi vibes. Welcome to the chat. We need our jobs, child. You gotta set clearer boundaries. Oh, don't we all? It's all about the boundaries. Yeah. I hate to agree with him, but he's not wrong. A lot of people, missed out on money. You know what I'm saying? Because he decided to show up over there. So you don't think about it like that. Parking garages, all of that stuff has to get shut down because he came over here to, watch a game, fall asleep. He probably wasn't watching. He just likes to impose himself on places where he's not wanted. And so he's from New York, or lived in New York anyway. And, the city is on fire right now because the Knicks was over here doing their thing. They like, let's do it. And he showed up and killed the whole celebration. And I'm sure they did not play as well as they wanted to because the crowd, the energy, he sucked it all up in that box. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't give a shit. All he did was take a nap properly. So he gets a compliment from a white man, but can't tell anyone. Boy, leave us, Willie. Was it a compliment? He's nice. That's what he said. If you're talking about Trump, I don't know. This is his clone of Stephen A. Smith. No, Ja Tony. This is him. This is your boy. This is Stephen A. He's always been this. You said if Trump causes the Knicks to lose again, go Spurs, go. You in Texas? You take your wins by any means necessary. I don't have a dog in this fight. You know what I'm saying? Not New York, not Texas. I'm not either thing. But I will say it does suck that all of those people that thought they were going to be making money, when big things come around, when big events come to your town and the team is winning and the city, the momentum, the energy is a big deal. And now you can't be a part of it. And when they showed his face, the room was like, boo, that energy doesn't go away. It doesn't leave. It's still in the room. He's still there. They don't want him there. And if he goes to the next game, it'll just be for spite. You said, side note, Knicks will lose the series regardless. Oh, I'm guessing that Lotus Egyptian Flower would be happy to hear that. T said they're going to lose anyway. So I ain't definitely not getting in that conversation. Why is this fool standing in front of the flag? Because he wants to be your next president. Ooh, this is his people. Now he up here. Child, can you imagine how entertaining a debate would be though with if he will stay there? Because I seen the other day a journalist asked him a question and he threw a tantrum and that's fake and you're a liar and I sat here waiting in the rain for you for an hour. He didn't want to have nothing to do with it. It doesn't help his credibility if Trump's still referring to him as a friend. Doesn't he seem like one of Trump's friends anyway? It's just a fight between friends, I guess. All right, moving on. Just thought y'all would like to know. I hate it that those people though are, gonna be out of work. House GOP said to have 0 Black Republicans for the first time since 1991. I feel like this one here is, to all of you cornhead, bubblehead ass Black men that went over there thinking you was about to be a part of the Trump administration in some way, shape, or form. That's what you get. That's how I feel. The Republican Party is on track to have 0 Black members in the U.S. House for the first time since 1991. With Byron Donalds and John James running for governor, Wesley Hunt losing his Senate bid, and Burgess Owens losing his district, a historic shift has taken shape in Washington. Supporters say it's about politics and opportunity. Critics say it reflects a party that has become increasingly disconnected from Black voters. Either way, the numbers are hard to ignore. I don't think they have any interest in gaining Black voters, to be honest. They pretty much told you niggas, y'all can go now. We don't need you anymore. Either way, the numbers are hard to ignore. What do you think this says about the future of the Black political representation in America? Uh, I feel like it's no different, to be honest. I mean, for me, when I see a Black man sitting under a Republican, party moniker, I know he ain't for us. So, whether he's there or not matters less to me over there on that side, because as long as this party is being represented the way it is, they don't belong over there. There is no Black in the Republican Party. It's not even a Republican Party anymore. It's basically, the good old boys, the Klan, MAGA is the new white supremacy. It's not the new white supremacy. It's the new name, though. Wembley is a new deacon at your church. Watch him take the championship. I don't know who Wembley is, Jatani. Y'all talking about basketball. I was like, are these people Republicans? Y'all talking about basketball. Yeah. So I feel like, to me, it doesn't feel like it's going to be any different. These niggas wasn't over there speaking on behalf of the community. They was over there speaking on behalf of themselves. So karma's a bitch. Looks like she got you. That's all I got to say about that. So remember the story about the white woman, the white couple whose embryo got switched out down to the doctor's office, and then the lady gave birth to a Black baby. IVF doctor speaks out after embryo mix-up leads to the couple giving birth to another family's baby. I am ultimately responsible. I let the couple down. That's what he had to say? That's it? Ooh, okay. We accept your apology, I guess. I don't know. The people is out here saying that baby looked like him. Anyway, the Florida fertility doctor at the center of shocking IVF. What? The Florida fertility doctor at the center of a shocking IVF embryo mix-up is finally speaking out. I'm going to say I did not expect him to be a Black man. That part surprised me. And while he suggested the mistake may have happened in the lab, well, yeah, that's where the mistake happened, in the lab. What are you talking about? He also acknowledged that the responsibility ultimately falls on him. It does. Dr. Milton, it's a whole child. Like, what? Why are we acting like it was a mix-up down to the airport and you got the wrong luggage at the house? It's a whole baby. She cute now. I don't know. Is she's dressed in pink? She cute as she can be. But what is her life going to be like being raised by these white people that didn't ask for her? A switched embryo. Everything she do, they're going to be like, it's because she's Black. I don't know these people. That's just, what I came up with in my head. Dr. Milton McNichol, the former owner of the Fertility Center of Orlando, everything in Florida, child, broke his silence after a lawsuit claimed a white couple unknowingly gave birth to another family's biological child following an error in embryo transfer. According to reports, the couple discovered something was wrong after their baby was born and did not appear to be genetically related to both parents. Isn't that a clever way of saying the baby was Black? DNA testing later confirmed the devastating mix-up, sparking legal action and widespread outrage. Everybody should be outraged as far as I'm concerned. Speaking about the situation, McNichol called the incident absolutely horrible and said families often make major sacrifices to pursue fertility treatments. I feel like he should just shut up. Just shut up. While he suggested that the error may have been related to laboratory procedures rather than a physician's direct actions, he stopped short of completely distancing himself from the incident. As the physician here, I am ultimately responsible, McNichol said. Yes, whether directly or indirectly. And the people was in this comment saying it was more direct than, you would like for us to believe. McNichol said, when we have great success, I get the credit. When there are failures, unfortunately, I take the arrows. I let the couples down. The couple? What about the other couple? Whose mama and daddy is to this baby. The fertility clinic reportedly shut down amid mounting lawsuits and financial troubles. However, McNichol is still reportedly practicing medicine. Is he? From the same building under a different fertility operation. That's crazy. This nigga closed a business and went and opened another business with the same, doing the same thing. Like, shouldn't his license have been revoked, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? I'm just saying, like, how does that happen? Y'all still talking about basketball, child. I have exited the basketball conversation. When those black, what'd you say? When those black diehard Republicans look at the people who are in Trump's circle or administration, they won't find anybody that resembles them. Well, now they won't be there, so it won't matter. This is a real story, Lotus Egyptian flower. This is a real story. It's been, we've talked about it several times. That baby is beautiful, isn't she? Elsie said this baby's DNA matches the doctor's. That's what the people said. Let's go down here and see what the people are saying. They said, but did he really, or he said, but did he really, or was it all a part of his diabolical plan? That picture says something. She talk about his beady little eyes. I don't know. The baby looks like that baby does not look like the white man. She looked like the doctor. That's his baby. Everybody in the comments, the doctor is the pappy. It says, the baby is so beautiful. Place her in the hands of people who look like her and will love her. This is what I don't understand. So the embryos got switched. Where is the white baby? I'm having a hard time understanding why. Were they all in on it? Like, was the mama and daddy in on it too? Did they snatch somebody's embryos and then tell her that it was a failure? You know what I'm saying? It might be more about diabolical than we think. Because I can't believe that these good white folks here would know that their baby is out there being raised by where their embryo went. You know what I'm saying? We need more to the story. In the meantime, he down here still practicing the same thing. People are still offering up their eggs and things to him, allowing him to create embryos. And according to the people, I don't know this, but the streets is saying he might be creating these embryos with his own DNA. I've heard it before. There's doctors. Did y'all ever see that documentary where they was down to that sperm donor place, impregnating women with the same 3 men, and all of these kids start running into each other? That was in Ireland or something. I don't know. I just want to know, like, what happened with the other embryo? And since we know that this baby is not genetically theirs, then who are the parents of this baby? Why isn't there a mother somewhere? Because, I'm feeling like if you have IVF money, then you got attorney money. You know what I'm saying? So where is the mother who produced this child? Yes, IVF is expensive. So where's the mama? You know what I'm saying? Of this girl, if she spent this money to, clearly she has to know. Are we just down here and saying, hey, these people had the wrong embryo, and there's no parent, there's no parents, no mother, no father, no one out here like going where? So then whose baby is it? That's what we want to know. Everybody that donated over here to Dr. whatever his name is, bring your DNA, or we have your DNA. I don't know. I feel like some things are missing. There's some procedures and precautions and, some more information that we need answers to. So I'm going to keep listening. But this clinic is in Orlando. I can't believe he in the same building. He didn't even leave the building. He just went on downstairs and opened up another doctor's office. And if we have any more, do this lady know, is this her baby and his baby? You know what I'm saying? I know. I got more questions about who this baby belongs to. Remember when we thought that Idris Elba was going to be the new James Bond? He said that was never going to happen. He said they was never even really considering him as James Bond. It was just a word on the street. For years, fans have speculated that Idris Elba could become the next James Bond, but the actor says he never believed the iconic role was truly in the cards for him. Well, we believed it and we wished it, and now I'm over it. I don't even care. James Bond is played out. We could get Idris to be a different character, to be honest. In a recent interview with British GQ, Elba addressed a long-running rumor that explained why he never expected to take over role as 007 following Daniel Craig's departure. Daniel Craig was the worst James Bond out of all of them as far as I'm concerned, but that's just my opinion. And I was here for all of the James Bonds, so he's my least favorite. Maybe it's because it's him, and he'd be giving off racist vibes too. According to the actor, the conversation eventually shifted away from his qualifications and became centered around race, of course, which made the decision increasingly uncomfortable. I feel like, okay, y'all can have it. We don't want James Bond. I don't even want to argue about this one. If it's about the race, then it's about the race. Y'all keep it. We don't want it. We just want him to be another, spy. Because at the end of the day, James Bond is played out. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. Elba noted that some audiences would likely resist seeing a black actor portray Bond, arguing that the character has traditionally been depicted in a specific way. He also questioned whether changing the character solely to meet modern expectations would feel authentic, pushing back against calls to make the franchise more woke. He said he didn't want to be James Bond. That's what I hear. The actor has been linked to Bond role for more than a decade. I wonder if that would be the case if he didn't have the British accent. We wouldn't care then. We wouldn't be pushing for it necessarily. With many fans citing his performance in Luther, The Wire, and numerous action films as evidence that he would be a strong fit for the part. However, Elba recently told people that he was not in the race ever, suggested that the franchise is likely seeking a younger actor to lead the next chapter. I mean, James Bond ain't always been young, so that part, I guess, child. Over time, what began as fan enthusiasm became a source of frustration for Elba. He has previously described the debate as disgusting and off-putting. Oh, really? Once race became the focus of the public discussion. Yeah, I guess so. While many supporters championed the idea of Elba becoming the first black James Bond, others strongly opposed it, turning what he initially viewed as a compliment into a divisive and exhausting conversation. I bet so. Like I said, at the end of the day, we don't want it. Y'all can keep James Bond. We can have him do, other adventure, spy type stuff. We don't need it. How do we explain to this child later in life? Take him to that doctor. Let him sit her down and be like, a long time ago, your mom and dad came into my clinic and they wanted a baby and I did too. So I made it happen. You rarely watch James Bond, but you definitely would have watched Idris. Yeah, but we don't need him to be James Bond. I'm like, y'all can keep it. I don't have the wherewithal to be arguing with y'all over what color James Bond should be. If Idris shows up in a suit and an accent and he's some type of, spy, we'll be there for it. We don't, we'll be there for it at the box office. Get together with Ryan Coogler or, yeah. He got 13, 16, I don't know how many Academy Awards. He has an imagination. Just don't make him a vampire. You said hopefully the mom will highlight the little girl's beauty and not make it a mask. Lotus Egyptian flower. I have no faith that woman is gonna make sure that child grows up confident. My daughter had IVF and the fertility never tested her partner's sperms. Really? He was infertile. They waited until it was time to fertilize her eggs and found out he was infertile. That sucks. You said fertility clinics are scams. I guess you have to treat them, follow through with people who have great references. So Dr. Whatever his name is over here in Orlando, he's definitely a scam. We can't be coming out, with completely different babies. You would think that testing the sperm would be, the first part of the process. You know what I'm saying? And then it is expensive. So anyway, so it's a no for Idris. He don't even want to be James Bond. We don't care. We want him to be wherever he is going to be. Why do liars like to cape for each other? Tyler Perry make me sick. I get more and more irritated with him as time goes on. He just... Have y'all watched Divorced Sisters? I have not. I keep saying I'm going to check it out, but I'm allergic to Tyler Perry, I think. Tyler Perry speaks out on current debate surrounding people having degrees. Says it's bigger things y'all should be worried about. Really bigger things that we should be worried about than this lady lying to the community about her credentials. I don't feel like, why are we acting like she can't be called out for being a liar? Now, she's a pretty lady, but she ain't that damn pretty. Good grief. Let's hear what he's saying.
A degree, and that's trending. But what is not trending is what this administration is doing by taking degrees from so many of us. So as I think about this, I'm just like, we've got to do something and come together. And
Got her whole lifestyle. Carrie got on stage and talked about people not lying. We don't need to worry about this lady lying about her degree. We need to worry about the degrees that are being taken away from, us by this administration. Way to change the subject, Tyler Perry. You recorded it, but you haven't watched a single episode. Let's start watching it to go to Africa. T said she was going to watch it. I'll watch it. And then, I'll let y'all know what I think if we're going to come over here and talk about it. Both are important. Yeah. I just don't understand why they're making it not okay for us to say, lady, you lied. If you lied about your credentials, then I just don't know that I can trust anything you say. That's it. That's all. She's allowed to be called out on that. And then for her to be like, I ain't got to tell y'all, make a fucking thing. And then come over here and tell us the mumbo jumbo about how the people said they don't know have it anymore. And it's just not even one lie. And I used to be the mayor and I owned 3 stores when I was 16 years old, and I moved out and I bought a house. I paid for the rent in cash for the whole year. This lady got a lie and a lie and a lie and a lie and a lie. I mean, there's so many of them. He's right with both things. I think both things can be right at the same time. Yeah, so we're not jealous of this lady. Hell, she cute. I think I'm cute too. We both cute, but I don't lie about my credentials. My license is on the wall. And, the administration, I think that's a good reflect. And every time you come up with a question you don't want to answer, you just be like, instead of worrying about that, we need to be worried about this administration. That's a good deflect. We can just all use that one. So why I need to keep up my boycott of his movies? Are we boycotting his movies? I guess we can't watch Divorced Sisters. I don't watch his movies because they're usually not good unless Madea shows up. So if Madea ain't there, I'm usually not interested. And it'd be a bunch of people. I'm sorry, but y'all Tyler Perry actors be bad actors unless he goes ahead and pay. He'll pay Taraji to come over there and cry and do that thing that she does. But for the most part, you can walk past his shows and be like, is this a Tyler Perry movie? And I don't even want to blame the actors. I think it's the script too. It's like, it's only so much you can do with no story written because he went in the bathroom and created a whole screenplay while he took a shit. We can address it and move on, but we need to stay on the topic and of taking degrees away. Yeah. But she keeps coming over here lying. So as long as she keep, opening her fat mouth, somebody gonna say something about it. I feel like he really did the very thing that he said what we should be doing. Instead of him going up there and talking about that, he could have easily left her out the conversation. He could have went up on that stage and talked about the things, how they're taking away degrees and things and how important it is. He could have flipped it around instead of saying, we don't need to worry about that. We can worry about that too, because the lady's a liar and she's over here doing her damage within our own community. You said Tyler can go help New Birth and Jamal open up a transitional house for families. They both got enough coin to do it. You know what I'm saying? They both got enough coin to do it. Jamal had her over there on his chair sofa too, talking about getting naked in the bathtub with your partner. And then he had to come back and say, I don't apply to that. Why didn't y'all find out her credentials before you had her come over there? You know what I'm saying? Maybe that should be a requirement, not just for her, but if y'all having these humongous platforms and you're going to bring somebody on your platform to speak as if they were a medical professional, then they should be required to show those credentials to you before you come over there and let them run their mouth, Jamal. Now you want to come back and talk about, I got a doctorate, my sister got a doctorate, my mama, my daddy, everybody in my family got a doctorate. Well, she don't. And you let her come over there in front of your Christian self as the leader of the New Birth Baptist Church and talk about how single people should get naked in front of each other in a bathtub in order to perform discipline. Tyler could say that because he stole from Sophie. Who is Sophie? Boycotting Tyler is easy. Oh, Lotus Egyptian flower. That's about the easiest boycott we have been approached with yet. What? I don't have to work hard for that. Rumor has it that many of his scripts are written by AI. Feel like they would be better if AI wrote them. Feel like maybe he should just let AI do their job and stop adding his dysfunctional childhood trauma lead his scripts. For goodness sakes. Anyway, she'll be over there like on the next platform talking about how Tyler Perry supported her. Tyler Perry is a big supporter of mine. That'll be her next lie. Every time she sit down, Pinocchio's nose grows and grows and grows. Another Jolie child to drop the pit. How many kids they got over there? Brad, what was you over there doing? All these children decided they don't even want your last name. They are actually taking legal measures to get the hell away from their daddy and his last name. They don't even want to carry your lineage on. Brad Pitt. That's wow. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's family name drama is growing. It seemed like they'd be quiet and then kaboom, they come out with something. She went over there to Spelman. See, Lena Jolie, make sure her daughter get her, lessons about, her blackness. She over there at Spelman and hanging out with Giselle and Angel or whatever one of them twins is over there. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's family name drama is growing as their daughter Zahara has reportedly filed to legally remove Pitt from her last name. I think it's a big deal when you legally take measures to make it happen, child. What the hell, Brad, were you doing over there? According to People, Zahara, 21, filed a name change petition in California on April 28th. The move came just days after her older brother Maddox, 24, refiled for to become Maddox Chavin Jolie. All the kids is going down to the courthouse the same time. Their sister Shiloh, 20, was granted a similar request in 2024. Shiloh is his actual child. Even his own biologicals don't want to have his last name. Brad, you're a diabolical something or another. I tell you what. It says their sister Shiloh, 20, was granted a similar request in 2024, making Zahara the third of the former couple's 6 children to take formal legal steps toward dropping Pitt. And probably the rest of them have not yet reached the age where they could go do it too. The filing follows years of public distance with the famous family. Jolie filed for divorce in 2016, and the exes finalized their split in December 2024 after a lengthy legal battle. Angelina, that's what happens when you go over to somebody's house to steal their husband. You took that lady's husband, and clearly he wasn't worth taking. A source close to Pitt reacted to the latest filing, saying, "It's sad to see someone repeatedly publicize their successful alienation of their children from another parent." We gonna blame her, of course. We knew that was gonna be the case. Them kids are grown; they're making decisions. It looks like as they come of age. We're not gonna do that. Zahara had already been signaling the change publicly. During her Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated introduction, she said, "My name is Zahara Marley Jolie." A source also described Jolie as very supportive and involved with Zahara, while another insider previously claimed Pitt was virtually no contact with his adult children. I believe it. I believe I believe it. I think, if different if it's one child, if you got one wild child that, don't want to, doesn't get along with the parent. She's the third one. And the one of them is like, she's not adopted. That's too bad. Rumor has it he's cheap too to hire a good writer. Oh, y'all talk about Tyler Perry. Yeah, that's what they say. He don't want to hire good writers. I think it's his ego, honestly. Yeah, child. So Brad Pitt reportedly blames ex-wife Angelina for daughter Shiloh legally dropping his name. Insiders say, yeah, he don't really much care too much about the rest of them children, and he didn't, that did not come from his loins. She went and, adopted Cambodian children, and I think the little girl's Ethiopian. She went outside the country and brought home those brown babies, and even the one that he, provided DNA for, she don't want his last name either. That's wild. That's wild. I don't know, Brad. It ain't really a good look over here with you, my man. So, yeah. The people said Michael Jackson is that dude. Michael Jackson's biopic becomes Lionsgate's biggest movie ever as it nears historic $1 billion milestone. Y'all ain't gonna be able to catch up with Michael. Y'all keep trying to make Chris Brown or whoever, Beyonce, the next. I don't know. Unless they die and still make $1 billion, they never gonna be able to catch up with Michael and his, success. And for whoever all over, this is the thing. The movie, I haven't seen it. I've heard a lot about the nostalgia of Michael. The people said the storyline, whatever, was okay because there were things missing, I guess. Because like I said, I haven't seen it. But nobody has said it's like so great necessarily. It's Michael. That's the part that they're attracted to. So I heard that the young man, Jafar, did a great job as Michael. That's not probably a surprise that he would be able to channel, his uncle. I figure who better to do it? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's Michael that's the draw, not the movie. It's the man. Michael is the man. Michael Jackson's long-awaited biopic is proving to be a box office force. Michael has officially crossed $900 million at the global box office, making Lionsgate's film and studio the highest-grossing movie ever. The biopic starred Jafar Jackson as the King of Pop, has earned $355.2 million domestically and another $44.8 million internationally. He already did. Oh my goodness. The film is now just 11 million away from surpassing Bohemian Rhapsody, which earned 911 million worldwide. Oh, they'll pass that probably and then some. And that was a good movie. If Michael passes that milestone, it would become the highest grossing musical biopic of all time. The movie has seen major success overseas with he always did amazing overseas anyway. Probably, yeah, the numbers over there is bigger than the ones over here. The people overseas, especially in those Asian countries, I'm just saying. The movie has had major success overseas with top markets, including the United Kingdom, 68 million, France, 54 million, Germany at 34 million, Brazil 32 million, and Mexico 31 million. With another international rollout approaching, Michael could soon be moonwalking towards the $1 billion mark. Woo! And he won't receive not a dime because Michael been dead for 20 years, child. Woo! She said Brad had a hygiene problem. I mean, if that's the case, that's no reason to erase his last name legally. The rumor is, I read that one already. Jafar did his thing. Gladiola, welcome to the chat. You know, we love to hear, see new people over here and hear y'all's input. So welcome to the chat. Yeah, they said Jafar did his thing. I was going to go see it. I might still. I don't know. It's getting close to the time where they start taking things out of the theaters. But I think it was T who told me that you should see it in the theater. I would imagine. Yeah, who's getting the money? The estate. Jermaine was over there on $6 million in child support. He got his money. And then that lady, his wife, that came to the premiere dressed as, the matriarch of the family, she be trying to get his coin. Whew, I don't know. Where is that money going? Paris is over here fighting for her life to get money from the estate. I feel like his children should definitely get a portion of it. That's a lot of money. Janet, you said you didn't want nothing to do with it, girl, so stay out of this conversation. You said you didn't support the movie, so I feel like, yeah, don't support the movie, girl. But the movie is making millions. Almost $1 billion. Almost $1 billion. I low-key want to see him make it. I low-key, because I'm one of these people who happens to believe I live in a life of two Michael Jacksons. This Michael Jackson and the other Michael Jackson. And the other Michael Jackson was not a good man. However, this Michael Jackson over here, I just want to see him, beat that record and stay at the top. Stay at the top just because, they've done everything under the sun they could to get, another. Taylor Swift, her name ain't in it. I liked Michael before this movie, but Jafar made me love him. I don't know how old you are, Gladiola. However, for those of us that, exes like me that grew up with Michael Jackson, we loved him up until a certain point, and we still can go back like a big Michael Jackson played a big part of, childhood, teenage years. He was there, being a force throughout. 60? Well, hell, girl. You know Michael Jackson from back in the day. You was growing up with the Jackson 5 and the Jackson 5 cartoon and the Jackson 5 variety show. You was right here with me, girl, watching the Jackson 5. Yeah, I feel like I'm experiencing FOMO. So I low-key, want to go ahead and see Michael Jackson movie before it leaves the theater. That's it. That's all, y'all. Like I said, I am in dire need of a social media break. It's been draining with all the negativity that's going past my timeline. So this is the last day you'll see me this week. I will be back Monday with another coffee talk. Hopefully you will be back with me. And y'all enjoy the rest of your hump day. I'm going to end right here.
That's the cruiser going on?
Yeah,
there's a cruiser going on.
that's freedom of the sea.
I got him, Kayla. I got him.
Carmelo Anthony, class of 2025, Centennial High School, Frisco, Texas.
Yeah. That's how to live, baby. A young child